Okay, it is Monday, and welcome to the Morning Hustle. Is our money expert, Jini Thorton. How you doing, love?
I'm good. Good morning.
Now, all those students just went back to college. The financial aid season for next year, the fall 2023, spring 2024 school year starts next month, and we got to get the kids ready, man. What should they be doing, Jini?
I am so happy we're talking about this because people are always confused about the date. So, yes, fall 22 just started, but on October the 1st, financial aid forms for fall 2023 come out. In 2 weeks, those forms come out. So it's super important that not only that we know that the forms are coming out, but we have got to get the FAFSA, that free application for federal student aid. We need to get that completed the first week of October, as we got to get that on our calendar, and we got to get those forms prepared.
Okay, now, Jini, we know these things are not always easy. So what are the mistakes that, families make regarding the financial aid process?
Well, number one, obviously, just kind of waiting on completing the FAFSA forms, because some people are like, hey, it's October, not that big of a deal. I could get it done November, December, January. Should not do that. That money is actually distributed first come, first serve. So the people who get in line earlier, get their forms completed earlier, are going to have access to what you remember. That's that Pell Grant money. That's that work study money. You can't even get student loans without completing the FAFSA. So you definitely want to get it done early. Another thing that people do wrong is a lot of times parents will own the entire process and not involve their student. Your student has to know what's going on. Or I also see the vice versa, where parents are like, look, this is your degree. I don't have nothing to do with this. And they expect the student. Happens all the time. They expect the student to do this. But if your student is still a dependent, if they are dependent of yours, they need your information too. So this is really a family collaborative effort. It's important that families work together.
Okay, now, Jini, what advice do you have for parents whose children are seniors in high school who aren't sure where they're going to attend school and don't think they need to complete the FAFSA so early?
Hey, Craig, what's interesting about this is a lot of parents are like, I don't even know if my kid is going to college. And if they're going, I don't even know where they're going to go to college. You still need to complete the FAFSA, and you still need to get it done by the first week of October. You can select up to 10 schools. So if you're not sure where your student is going to go, that's fine. And then you can even amend the form later. If you need to add a few additional schools in a couple of months, you can certainly do that. But again, even if you're not sure that your student is going to college, please get that FAFSA done.
And what are the best websites for families to use to educate themselves about the whole financial aid process?
L'Oreal, that's really important because it can be intimidating to some people. They're like, ooh, this is worse than getting my taxes done. That's the reason why we're talking about this early. Please take the next couple of weeks to get comfortable with the forms. You want to get clear on what is expected of you, what information that you're going to have to report. There's a couple of sites that I suggest people go to. One is studentaid.gov. Studentaid.gov. This is an actual site that you go to complete the FAFSA form, but that way it'll let you know what information, what ID you're going to have, Social Security numbers, bank account information. It's going to tell you what you need. And you can also go to my site at thankmelater.money. Again, thankmelater.money. And we have some great content out there on the financial aid process. And we even interviewed the director of financial aid at Spelman College, who really shared a whole lot of information. So please check that out as well.
Okay, now real quick, Jini, if parents are divorced, right, have never been married, which parent should be responsible for completing the FAFSA, just to make sure, the kid gets the most bang for the buck?
This is always an issue, too, because the one parent was like, ooh, I don't want anything to do with this at all. What the law says is the custodial parent, so the parent that the child spends the majority of the time with, they should be completing the form. Now, what also creates an issue, let's assume it's the mother, but also let's assume that the mother is remarried. Guess what? That new spouse's information, that has to go on the FAFSA form, too. So that's where a lot of people, it can create an issue and even stall the process. Y'all, let's get all that family stuff worked out so by October 1st we're ready to go.
All right, so if one of our listeners get their financial aid award letter back and they don't agree with the amount of aid they've been given, what should they do in that case?
Loria, I'm glad that you asked that because a lot of families don't realize you can actually file an appeal. And what that means is you have received it's called your EFC, your expected family contribution, and you're like, there is no way in the world. This is not enough. Or maybe you've had some life changes like a loss of job, major illness, maybe even a death in the family. You can file an appeal, but you file an appeal directly with the school. You do not file that with the FAFSA. You do not file that with the federal government. And each school has a separate or a different appeal process. But please feel free to file the appeal, but you're going to have to back up what you're saying. You can't just be like, ooh, I don't like this. This is the reason why we have an issue with it, with the award. This is the reason why we're going to file the appeal. And here's the proof of what we're saying.
Boom. Well, there it is. Jini Thorton, as always, a wealth of information. And if you missed any part of this, you can go to the Morning Hustle YouTube page to, get the refresher course on all this because there's a lot of valuable information. And listen, this could save you thousands upon thousands along the way. One time for the one, the only, Miss Jini Thornton. Appreciate you, love.
Thank y'all. Y'all have an amazing Monday.